Namaste everyone, welcome back to CodeCraft with Poonam. I'm your coding mentor Poonam Agrawal. And now coming to our recipe service application.java. This is our main entry point. Okay, so here you can see that this class is annotated with at the rate Spring Boot application. Okay, here we have our main method where we have the Spring application dot run method. Okay, so here we have provided our recipe service application. This is our class name. Okay, recipe service application dot class comma args, which is nothing but arguments. Okay, so here at the rate spring boot is the so here at the rate spring boot application is the combination of at the rate configuration, at the rate enable auto configuration, and at the rate component scan. So what each of this annotation mean? So here this at the rate configuration is just like your floor plan. Okay, and at the rate auto configuration, what it does is it auto connects everything. Okay, and then coming to at the rate and then coming to at the rate component scan. So here it walks through all the packages. Okay, so it's just like finding everyone wearing a badge. Okay, as I told you in starting of this video. Okay, so now we will run this application. Okay, so now here you can see that our application got started here. Started recipe service application. Okay. So here you can see that here that pantry manager recipe repository is stocking these shelves. Pantry stocked with 4 recipes ready to serve. Okay. So here what we are doing, we it preloads the 4 recipes. Okay, and then what is happening is it finds for the at the rate service on the recipe service. It will see the constructor which needs recipe repository. Okay, so it looks in container and it says that I have one, so I will inject it. Okay, so here you can see that here our head chef, that is our recipe service, is reporting for the duty. Okay, and then what will happen is it will find the at the rate rest controller. Okay, on the recipe controller, so it will see that constructor needs recipe service. So it looks in the container and says, oh, I have one, so I will inject it. Okay, so here you can see that your waiter recipe controller is at the counter ready to take orders. Okay, and then what will happen is embedded tomcat server will start on which port, that is 8080. We have mentioned it in our application.properties file, right? The port number as 8080, that means here the restaurant is open. And then you can see the started recipe service application. Okay, where we have given all our endpoints, right? So that all got displayed here. And then here what is happening is it is initializing the spring dispatcher servlet. Okay, that is where customer wants all recipes. Okay, so here you can see that you wrote zero. So here in this example we have not written any new, we have not used any new keyword, right? So here you have not written any zero new statements to wire them. So here we have no new recipe repository, no new recipe service. Okay. So here Spring did it all. Okay. So that is the power of the dependency injection. So now we will test all our APIs. Okay, using our Postman. This is our URL, right? So that is localhost colon 8080 slash API slash recipes. Here we are using get method to get all the recipes. So this will return us in our JSON format. Okay. So here you can see that in the body we got all the recipes. Okay. So if we have multiple um, So if we have a multiple data, then it will be within this square bracket. Okay, you can see this is the uh, end of the data. Okay, so within this we will have a curly braces. Okay, for each of the recipes, and then it will separate multiple recipes with this comma. So this is our first recipe, that is paneer butter masala, okay, with all the provided fields and instructions. And then this is another recipe, this is another recipe, okay, ID3, ID4, so on, okay. And now we will search by name. Okay, so for that what we have done, we have provided at that request param, right, that is which takes key and value. So so if we want to search by particular name, then we have to provide the key and value, right? So so here what we will do, in recipes what we want, for that we will provide this question mark and the key and value. Okay, so name here we are giving, for example, paneer. Okay, now when you click on the send, then see you got this. Okay, with the name paneer, here you got paneer butter masala, all the related fields, instructions, all the data related to this paneer you got in JSON format. Okay, so here you can see that as I have provided this paneer in lowercase, right? So here we got this paneer butter masala. So here case is insensitive. Okay. So here the case is insensitive partial match. Okay. So now here we are going to get by ID. Okay. So for example, we will give 1. Okay. Here /1, and when you send it you will get the JSON response in the body. Okay, this one you can see ID1, all its details. Okay, so here we have provided this specific recipe. Okay, so so if you give here some 9, okay, 9 number, recipe number. Okay, now when you click on send, you can see that here nothing is there. Okay, we don't have here the recipe with ID 9. That's why here the status is 404 not found. Okay, so now we have another endpoint, right, for the quick recipes. So where we have provided at the request param with the default value as 30, right? Do you remember? So we will try that one. Okay, so first we will try for the quick recipes. So that is we have provided the URL /quick, right? So first we will check this one. So here you can see that in the body you got that ID3. So this is our quick recipe. Okay, so here we have provided the default time as 30, right? That's as a quick recipe. That's why you can see that total time minutes is 30 here. That's why this got displayed here. And also here, and also you can see that we have another recipe, that's masala chai. Okay, this one, that is total time minutes is 10 here. Okay, so now we will check with another endpoint, that is we will provide the maximum minutes. Okay, here here it used the default minutes, right? So now here we will specify. So here after this we are going to give the key and value, that is max. We have given that field, right, max minute, that is max minutes. Okay, so here we are going to provide the sum 50. Okay, and then when you click on send, here you can see that you got the recipes which takes time. Here total time minutes 40, total time minutes 30, and total time minutes 10. So here what is happening is, Here the default one where we have given 30 minutes, right? So when you provide the value here as 50, then this will override the 30 minutes to get more. Okay, so if you're mentioning here as max minute is equal to 50, then what are the recipes you have? Okay, till 50 minutes. Okay, all that recipes will get displayed here. Okay, here as I have provided the key and value. Okay, this is our key and this is our value. Here you can see key is max minutes in this query params. You can see max minutes is our key and value is our 50. Okay. So now we are going to test our another, so now we are going to test our another API endpoint that is vegetarian. Okay, so do you remember in our controller layer we have another method that is where we have annotated with @get mapping in double quotations we have given slash vegetarian, right? So we are going to test that slash vegetarian. Okay, now we are going to send it. So here you can see that all the vegetarian recipes got displayed here. Okay, that is paneer butter masala, gulab jamun, and masala chai. Okay, in our recipes we have mentioned chicken biryani, which is non-veg, right? So here you can see only vegetarian recipes got displayed here. Okay. So now this is all about get mapping, right? So now we are going to test our API endpoint for the post. So here we are going to create a new recipes and add to the recipe. Okay. So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to the body. Okay. Here you need to click on raw and here you need to change it to post. Okay. So here, so I'm going to add this new recipe that is dal makhni. Okay, here you can see that is named dal makhni. Category is main course, preparation time, cook time, serving 6, vegetarian true, description and all the ingredients. Okay, so now here I'm going to give the URL that is for, we are going to add it in our recipes, right? So that is localhost colon 80 slash API slash recipes. Okay, now click on send. See, you can see this in the body here. Okay, it got added. So here you can see the status code as 201 created. That means this got added in our recipes. Okay. So here it got created with ID 5. Before we had only 4 recipes. So they were ID only 4 IDs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is created with ID 5. It as I have mentioned in our code, that is next ID, right? So it will auto increment based on the previous ID. Okay. So now let's try adding this dal makhni again. Okay. So now click here again. Here you can see the status as 400 bad request. Okay. Here what the message is saying that error recipe dal makhni already existed. So do you remember in our controller layer we have mentioned in our catch block that is our for the error that is response entity dot some status code. Okay, rebuild so build dot body. Okay, there we have provided the error message error colon recipe. So this will take that name get name and we have given this already exist, right? So if you don't remember, once you go to the code and check that. Okay, so this is what it displayed. Okay, so that error was handled by our catch block and this message got displayed here. Okay, so here that means our business rule is working here. So in our service layer we have provided all the business logic, right? So here we have tested it that whether our business logic is working or not. So it is working successfully, right? So here that proves So here that proves Spring created all the 3 instances and wired them together, right? So in this video, what we have done, we have created a three clean layers, right? And we have business rules in our service layer. We have a proper stereotype annotations. We have data access via repository, which is easy to test each layer, right? And in this example, we have used at the request param, which is used to search or filter with the query params, right? So here what we have done, we have separated the concerns. That is, we have a separate layer, that is controller layer, service layer, repository layer, where controller layer handles all the HTTP request, service layer handles all the business logic, and repository layer handles all the data. Okay. And then we have used here dependency injection. So here Spring creates and wires everything. So here you have not written anything new keyword, right? So that's what makes Spring Boot so powerful. Okay. And then here we have used this constructor injection, right? So this is for today's video. If you liked my teaching, then do let me know through comment and hit the like button and share it with your circle so that it will be helpful to them. And do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss any of my videos. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. This is Poonam Agrawal from CodeCraft with Poonam signing off.